Hi, folks. Today I want to share some special news. I went to a VA mental health intake or orientation, you might call it. Uh, and it looks like I have borderline personality disorder, which is part relief and part like a curse. Like, yeah, I get it. It makes sense now. Like, I feel relieved that I know what it is, sort of. But because it's so mysterious and took so long to get this diagnosis, or almost a diagnosis, not sure if I feel it's confirmed or not, but I did speak to a psychologist today, and her determination was that I have borderline personality disorder, and of course, an anxiety and depression are only symptoms of that, not the main things that I suffer from. And it is considered an extreme mental disability. And if I look at my past and my history, I would agree with that. But that also makes me feel like shit. It makes me feel like I'm only going to continue repeating the same fucking thing over and over again. Um, I don't feel hireable. I probably wouldn't even hire myself. um, yeah. Why would I hire myself? I get angry and frustrated over nothing sometimes. Of course, then I don't tell anybody about it because who the frickin' hell would want to hear about it? I guess that's where talk therapy is important and being able to talk about your feelings and emotions, but I'm not feeling like it's something that's going to go away. And how the hell do I hide that from a future employer, right? Well, what am I going to be all, yeah, I just took some time off recently to find out that I have borderline personality disorder. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Oh no, I just took some time off and now I'm magically okay. No, that doesn't sound good either. What the fuck excuse do I have to any employer? Or even if I was offering a service? Although I feel more justified being the crazy artist. That feels good. I've always been an artist. I'm always talented. I'm so expressive. Um, I feel like the crazy artist. But who the hell wants to employ a crazy artist, let alone buy their art until they're somehow famous or not? Uh, there's no reassurance at all. It just absolutely not. It feels like shit. Um, I think the worst thing is, I mean, coping with knowing that you have a hard time coping. And the interesting thing about borderline personality disorder is that it's many times associated with PTSD, but I didn't get the time to focus on that in my session because there's so many things to go over and so many questions. I really feel like I need a follow up because I'm convinced that I have PTSD, but then I'm also convinced that I've always had a problem and just didn't know what it was. And so it's like, it makes sense now. Yes, yes, it's borderline personality disorder exacerbated by PTSD. Um, all before I even joined the army. And if these things had been known before I joined the army, I wouldn't have been able to join. Hell, I even lied about recent drug use probably before I joined, although I wasn't addicted to anything, but I did whatever I could to get into the military. You know, there's very as much as there might seem like there's restrictions, there's very few people trying to uphold them or I think determine whether you should be restricted. You know, if you go in there acting like you're willing to be in the military, well, they're usually going to want to take you. So, you know, and I excelled in the military to a degree, but I also got an Article 15 at one point because, like many people with BPD, I uh, lost control and disobeyed a lawful order and disrespected somebody, although that person was not necessarily the best leader either. And for sociological and environmental reasons, I felt compelled to behave in a deviant sort of way. But, you know, it's interesting looking at deviance and deviant behavior. I don't want to judge myself as a bad person and a criminal. And I know in my heart that I'm not per se, except for the fact that there are certain impulses and reasons for doing certain things that at times seem out of my control. Although I've come to logical conclusions over time that I don't like behaving in a certain way, so I try not to. But there are also certain things that, like I say, it's still it's very unsettling, and to know that you have this difficulty, and although they say it's treatable, I don't know. I'm 45 years old now. I feel like I'm kind of set in my ways. I feel like I've dealt with so many years of bouncing around. You know, I'm not looking for a free handout. You want to give me a job? Give me a job. I'll do it. Just don't ask me to be all happy and proud and giddy and you know, it's like, yeah, I'll go and do some work, right? And I'll focus on the work most of the time and try to do a really good job. In fact, and in many ways, I've been praised for work, and in other cases, I felt like I wasn't praised or recognized at all. And all those things are up here in your head a lot of the time. I mean, there are social cues, and maybe people do have biases towards you if you have BPD. But in many cases, our overreaction to these things doesn't help. And the overreaction is up here first. It's not always right out front initially. It's uh, it's just this revolving door of repressed thoughts sometimes that then lead to more explosive behavior at times. And luckily, I don't feel violent towards other people most of the time. Not like in physical reality. Mentally, yes, yes. Mentally, I've fantasized about hurting lots of human beings. Definitely. Is that what I really want? No, not at all. It's not what I want at all. I actually consider myself to be an empathetic person. Unfortunately, I also feel stymied in helping people and being more selfless, uh, partly because I'm so trapped in my head a lot of the time. So, yeah, welcome to my world, and thanks for watching.